The impact of the social and economic divide has been even more prominent since the pandemic, which has affected people both physically and mentally. Innovation agency HACT has been working in the housing sector for 60 years and has seen many changes. Joining me now is the Chief Executive, Andrew Van Doorn. So, Andrew, the COVID-19 pandemic has clearly had a huge impact on all of us. How far would you say that the social housing sector has been impacted more than most?
I think where the effect has been felt is actually in the communities and in the homes. We already know that people who live in social housing experience significant health inequalities, they experience quite a significant amount of poverty, and they've experienced quite a bit of stress over the last 10 years because of austerity. So as COVID hit, those communities were massively impacted. We've been tracking what social landlords have been doing over the last few months, and from March until June, we estimate that they've spent about £2.5 million in financial assistance directly to people and the organisations that support them. We also know they made about 1.5 million welfare calls. So COVID-19 has had a huge impact on them, and it's had a huge impact on the communities in which people live.
So we've seen how the pandemic has impacted so many people physically, economically, but what about those who've been really severely impacted by mental health issues, for example, anxiety, worries?
Mental health has been a key concern for all of us. Even myself, being in lockdown has not been necessarily a pleasant experience. We know that in social housing that over the last few years that people on the front line have been telling us that they're experiencing more people with mental ill health. And that's actually escalated because of the pandemic. We also know that a third of people who live in social homes actually do experience on an ongoing basis mental health problems. What we're seeing now as we come out of lockdown is an escalation of need. We're seeing reports from the NHS that the numbers of people, particularly those with severe and enduring mental ill health, are presenting to the NHS needing support. And for me, this points to the importance of relationships and partnerships between housing and the NHS to deliver good services around mental health.
It's HACT's 60th birthday this year. How far has social housing and the role of social housing changed during that 6 decades?
It's changed hugely. When HACT was set up 60 years ago and we were set up to create housing associations, there were very few housing associations around, and now they are the main providers of social homes in the country. But I think the reasons why social housing was set up hasn't changed. Actually, the concern that people have about good homes, good communities, and the support that's around people to live successful lives is still there and is still with us. But actually, social landlords themselves are entirely different. They're much larger. They're investing huge amounts in their communities, and actually, the work that they do is vast beyond just the delivery of a good home.
What more needs to be done now going forward in terms of social housing? What more would you like to see done?
So HACT exists to help support and drive the social purpose of social landlords. And I think that the social purpose is very much at the core of our sector. And we're here to help support that, to help drive that, to help innovate in that. I think when I look across social housing, the role and the importance of social value is becoming increasingly understood and increasingly used as part of the decision-making for social landlords, how they invest their resources, not just in neighbourhoods and people, but also how they invest their resources in new homes. So I think that the future is one which is incredibly exciting. I think there are huge opportunities. I think if we can better understand our social value and better drive our social value in all that we do, then actually there's a huge amount of impact that we can make. And that's why we are publishing our 5-year roadmap for social value. It's going to describe how we are going to transform our approach to social value in the next 5 years.
Andrew Van Doorn, many thanks for joining us, and happy birthday celebrations for HACT for 60 years. Well done.